Hey
Hi,
Leo, how are you?
doing good.
Hey, we have Nate joining us. Yay, Nate. Do you know Nate? Nate does he founded Entre Resource as a blog. He runs a six-figure blog. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Let me know if you guys are here live by hashtagging 101 and smash the heart button. Today I have an incredible person to intro you to. His name is Leo, and he actually got recommended to me by Ernest Epps, who does, a lot of e-commerce. And he's like, you got to talk to this man, Leo. He not only runs a six-figure e-commerce store, and I don't know if that's your only store or you have more stores. I'll ask you about that later. But he's a dad. He's a full-time engineer, and he does real estate investing. So he has multiple real estate properties, and he's able to do all of that without, while he's working his full-time engineering job. And for some of you in the audience, you guys are like, oh, I don't have time. I don't, like, I need to quit my job to be an entrepreneur. And I want to tell you guys that's not particularly true. So welcome, Leo, to my group. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. And can you tell us, even though I give some already a sort of summary, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I want my group to get to know you better, just like an origin story or something like that, where you
So,
came from.
so my parents were immigrants. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and my parents were Italian immigrants. And my dad, coming to this country, he started working and saving some money, and he bought like two houses. And I learned a lot of real estate investing from him. Back then there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't any, you had to go to like buy books pretty much to learn all this stuff. So as a kid, I went around with him. He was an HVAC mechanic. And I learned a lot of air conditioning and whatnot from him and heating. So as I grew up, I got a union job, got a trade, became an operating engineer that operates pretty much. I'm not like a desk engineer. It's mostly operating in like the facility that operates a lot of infrastructure and whatnot in like a big building. So I'm very handy and I know basically how a house would work. It's kind of like it goes hand in hand. So anyway, as I was a kid growing up, I started, I had the entrepreneurial bug. I used to trade baseball cards back in the 90s. I used to go to card shows, stuff like that. And then this thing called eBay came out, right, in 1998. So I was like one of the first people on eBay. And believe it or not, when I call eBay to this day, I have the same account. They're like, wow, you got your account for like 20 years. Holy moly. There's not a lot of people that have never been suspended that have their account so long on eBay. So back in the 90s, I would put ads in the newspaper, like, buying robot toys. Now, this is the 90s. I grew up in the 80s, so I was a big Transformers fan of toys, the Transformers toys, the robots. So I would like go to people's houses because in Brooklyn there wasn't really any like garage sales in Brooklyn. It's very like city like. So you kind of like got to put ads. You got to go to people's like garage sales. It wasn't like in the suburbs. And I would basically get their toys, go home. I would take a picture with a digital camera, hook it up with a USB plug. 9 times out of 10, it'd say I need a new driver. It's not plug and play like now. And I would sell stuff. And back then, there was eBay stores that people actually they would charge you to like list the product online to sell it. It's crazy, but that's how it was back then. So I started selling stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, I'm making money. So I would take that money and then I rolled it over. And I love cars. I'm a big car guy. And my first car, my parents were like, here's this crappy Nissan, it's all smacked up. I was driving. I'm like, I really want a nice car. So I was flipping all these toys on eBay, saving money. And my friend had a body shop and he's like, hey, I got this smacked up car. Do you want to buy it? I'm like, you know what? How about I'll buy it and I'll just part it out and I'll just sell like the headlights and no one was doing that. eBay Motors didn't exist, right?
Yeah.
So I started doing that over time, and then it turned out to flipping cars. And then I bought a car, and I was like, wow, now buy some real estate. So I met my wife in 2000, and we bought a house, and then I sold my car, one of my nice convertibles that I love. But I took that money, and then I reinvested it into property, and that's how I started buying a lot of real estate. So fast forward to like 2015, the bug bit me again. I had all these like tools to fix cars in the garage, and my wife's like, you know what, you should really, because I was into like, beating the system, how things work, because I'm an engineer, hacking stuff and whatnot, reverse engineering. She's like, you should try to figure out, sell that stuff back on eBay. You were making money on eBay. I said, all right. So I went to the garage, sold all that stuff, and I was making like 2,000-3,000. I was like, wow, this is great. I heard cha-ching all the time. So I'm like, you know what? I have this real estate business that I actually got a rental property, and I have this e-commerce. I said, maybe I could like try to learn how to, sell stuff online. So I ended up seeing Ty Lopez's Lamborghini video, and I'm like, wow, this guy's got, he's got books. And so I ended up learning SEO back then, right? It's like, it sounds like a long time ago, but 5 years ago, like all these people did not exist. There was no Russell Brunson. There was no Ty Lopez. Like these people were like, no one knew who they were, right? And it was like the beginning. So I said, all right, let me learn e-commerce. I started learning e-commerce, and my store just like, I learned high-ticket e-com, and then it turned into another store. And now I have like some POD stores. I collaborate with a couple people. So we have, in my portfolio, I got about 7 stores. A lot of them I'm partners with a friend of mine, and we both like, he does the Facebook ads, I do. I basically built out a team over the last 5 years is what I did. And that was just e-commerce, right? So I was still working my full-time job, because my full-time job, I've been there for 20 years. And, I think I have like 2 more years left to vest and retire. And I got the medical, and I like my job. It's not like I hate it. I got to show up. Believe it or not, now that I have a toddler, I have 2 kids. My son is 2 and my daughter is 5 months. I can't get anything done. I'm lucky that I have this quiet time to be on a podcast, because my son knows I'm down here. I can't get anything done. I mean, I probably get more stuff done at work on my cell phone, on my business, than I do here, which is crazy. But, when you have kids, I'm sure a lot of your listeners have kids. They know exactly what they're talking about, And, at the end of the day, I started building up my real estate business. Now, what I do is I have a wholesaling business, not only rental properties, right? Rental properties is one thing. Like basically you have tenants, they're multifamily dwellings, they pay me. And then I have something called wholesaling, which is like drop shipping. I'm sure all your listeners know what drop shipping is, right? You're the middleman. This is what wholesaling is, right? And I actually do that. I have built a team out. It's called virtual real estate investing, because your team is virtual, right? So the majority of all my teams are in the Philippines, and they're awesome. I love the Philippines. They got like amazing work ethic. They're such great people. And without my team, I wouldn't be anybody. It's like the Chicago Bulls, right? Like Phil Jackson wouldn't be the best if you didn't have Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. So, everyone out there, once entrepreneurial, to be an entrepreneur is possible. You got to have a team. You can't just be Tom Brady, because you got to pass to somebody. So that's the key. You can work. Why not? I mean, if you're making 100,000 or whatever it is, and you got benefits, Damon John worked 2 years at Red Lobster. He was making millions of dollars. He was still waiting tables for like 2 or 3 years. Like, he'd be like, why? Why? Because he was setting himself up, like he was connecting with people. There's a reason why he was there, So everyone has their why. Everyone has their reason. Yeah, can I quit? Probably, but I need an office. Like, I'm not set up for that, right? I got so many things going on. Like, I'm already set in that mode. I got the people working that I work with. My team does a lot of the work, and I mean, it worked out really well. So right now, I'm always, trying to network with people and think about other ideas and other businesses, because once you learn how to like build a team, like you can build a team for anything. You could want to do a Facebook ad agency, whatever it is, because then you become a serial entrepreneur. You start going in different niches of businesses.
Yeah. Wow. Your journey is very similar to mine, minus like the real estate mogul part. Because I actually have a dismantling company. I started parting out cars like you did. I didn't flip cars. I got a warehouse, and I have workers, and they like take apart cars, and then they put all the parts online. On now Amazon accepts used car parts.
That's great.
But they just opened that just recently last year, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta get on top of this. And what you're telling me, I can see my like future like flashing before, you know, like building the team, automating the team. And then now only recently I got into high ticket courses, or not. Some people would say, oh, Kim, that's not high ticket, but like $9.97 for a course. And I'm beginning to see the results of that. Like a lot of people coming in buying $9.97. So I'm like, okay, now this can support a team.
Right.
You know, I already have virtual assistants, but I need to hire more virtual assistants to do that build out for me.
Right.
And
Right.
it becomes kind of like, okay, all the videos I recorded, now they can be put into, you know, use.
So,
People can
yeah, like
watch
standard operating procedures. Watch this video. This is how you do this. And you know what? And like you as the boss, you're the business owner. You know, when you see people like who the Michael Jordan is, so he's gonna shoot free throws, right? You know that Shaquille O'Neal, you don't want him to shoot free throws, so maybe he just is the guard. You know what I'm saying? So everyone that you know on the team can do a certain task. Because I've hired people for one thing, and like, you're a terrible web designer. You don't belong there. You got to do CSV files, you know? So like, it's so true though, right? So when you know, like, you just know, like someone is like, you know, fit for that position, you know, and you can move them around.
Yeah, yeah. But the way that you do it though, I feel like you probably run at a different capacity or different speed than I do, because I don't feel like I go as fast. Maybe, I don't know. But I do want to dive deeper into that. But before I do that, I want to say hey to everyone. Hey, Angelique. Hey, Usman. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Nathan. Hey, John. Hey, everyone joining us. You guys smash the heart button if you're here, and type 99 in the comments so that we get engagement and the rest of the group knows that this interview is going on. What's really interesting about Leo's story is that I can see how, you know, there's certain things called value ladders, but there's also certain things that I see as a trend for serial entrepreneurs. They figure out how to systemize or automate their current business, hand off everything, so that they have time to jump onto another project that they want to do. And it seems from what you're saying is like it's so second nature to you by now.
Yeah.
How did you? What was that? Was there something that clicked with you? Did you take any courses? What was the moment that you were like, this is what I have to do to really play bigger, you know?
Well, I think it really mattered when I had the right people. Like my wholesaling business, I have 4 people working for me, and my main like right-hand man, he like takes care of a lot of stuff. So he comes back to me, like he handles speaking to everyone else, the callers, because we have a call center. And I just started like putting a course together too, because so many people are asking me, Leo, how do I make money with real estate? Because the stereotype is, oh, you know, you need money to buy real estate, which is not true. So the type of real estate that I do is there's so many different types of real estate. Real estate is like, it's like e-commerce. You got Amazon, you got drop shipping, you got, you know, AliExpress drop shipping, you got high ticket e-com, you got print on demand. Like there's different parts of real estate. I can make a list of different things of real estate, right? So what I focus on is the wholesaling and multifamily residential, right? Because I like multifamily residential because the majority of the people who rent from me, those are my hard assets. That's what I own. Those are the properties I own. And I know that people who are going to live in those houses, they need a roof over their head. And the majority of the time, which I rent to a lot of single moms, they like the school system. So I'm in an upper middle class area, New Jersey, and the schools are phenomenal. They're like top in the country. So they don't really move. I have a very low turnover rate. And that's what I look for. I don't go to like the slums and the ghettos and buy the crappy houses. I'm not into that. So I try to make my life easy. And then I have my dad who's near me, and I have a team of people. And over the years, I've built up a team, a plumber, a carpenter, electrician. So if I got a problem, I dial the phone number and they go and they do. So I started out with physically buying hard assets, and me working, it was easy for me to like use my 401k, take a loan from it, or go to the bank. I got great credit because I make good money. Those are the very good benefits of having an actual job. So people who say, oh, I got to quit my job, whoa, hold on your horses, because you need credit, you need loans. The banks want to see, are you making money to lend you money? So there's a lot of moving parts when you're going to buy an asset and you want to take all that money and you want to move it, because that's what you want to do. You want to start building like an empire of hard assets that cash flow. Everyone talks about this. Cardone talks about this. Kiyosaki talks about this. At the end of the day, you want these hard assets to grow and also tax breaks from it, right? E-commerce is just to a certain extent you can write off, but real estate has always been there to write off. So after you get these hard assets, the wholesaling business that I do is a little bit different. What we do is we call distressed sellers up. So let's say you have a house, it's run down, it's old, and you want to get out of it, and I offer you, 70% of whatever the, average sale is. I offer you, you accept it, and then what I do is you sign a contract, and then I sell the contract. I don't buy the house from you, so I don't need any money. So it's like drop shipping. I'm the middleman. So I'm basically taking that contract, and then I'm finding a buyer, and there's a way to find buyers and build a list out. So it's very, once you have a system set up and you have a team that gets phone calls and you grow it on a big scale, you can do one deal a month, like starting out, and do like 10 to 20,000 just on one deal on wholesaling a property, which is a lot of money for somebody. That's like, 4 times someone's salary per month.
That's a lot of money for one transaction for a lot of people.
And we're doing like 5 to 10 transactions a month, depending, because then once you start getting money, then you could buy foreclosures. You could do a lot of different things. So I'm not even going to get into like the meat and potatoes of it, but that's pretty much the general gist of it. So the bottom line is you don't need money to start out. That's number one, right? All these commercials you hear on the radio, hey, learn how to sell real estate. I'm sure you've heard a lot of radio commercials. I'm coming to your area, learn how to buy real estate, and they charge like $100,000 to like learn. Well, basically that's what I'm doing, So I had a lot of people that contact me like, Leo, you know how to do it. And, I'm not one of these gurus that are online. I'm like, hey, I'm in your face on YouTube and doing this and that. Like I'm a genuine person, and I surround myself with a lot of genuine people, and I work for a living, and I know what it is that I was making that money to get my wife to quit her job. My wife quit her 15-year teaching job to stay home and raise our kids. Like she gave up an $80,000 a year, job to stay home, and now she raises our kids, and it's the best thing that she ever did. Why? Because of my real estate business. It's because real estate and also e-commerce. E-commerce was like the extra, like playing around money that I was bored to figure out, because she told me to go in the garage and sell some stuff. So it's been So, but it's fun because again, I'm an engineer and I like to know how mechanics work. So I'm like, how does this online e-commerce work? So then I ended up going to like Amazon, and I actually have a private label of my Amazon too that I do FBA, which is cool. Because I started drop shipping, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just own the brand? And I just own my own product. So I ended up, joining a mastermind and doing that. And like you said, you find out systems and methods that you can replicate, and do that. And that's what I did, So my main business right now, because I have so many different channels of it, is real estate. So I have the wholesaling, then I take that money and then I buy a hard property, and then I'll have the education part of it. I got a small group that a couple people wanted me to teach them, and I was just tired of going over the same stuff. So my friend's like, you got to get on ClickFunnels. I'm like, all right, I'll just do that, So that's what I ended up doing because so many people are asking me.
Wow. So I feel like you have your hand in a lot of avenues that a lot of people struggle with. They struggle with even one avenue working for them. For you, it seems to be like, hey, you should do this. And you're like, okay. And then it just works out.
You know what really helped me though? Honestly, Kim, what really helped me is like meeting people. Like I have really a lot of good people that I'm friends with. Ernest is a good friend of mine. I know him for a long time. I have like a good group of people, and I tell people, you got to get out of your house. You got to go to masterminds. Because I'm a very introverted person. I'm very shy. I don't really like being on podcasts and doing that. But this is the last thing that I need to fight and get out there, because I have a lot of things to share and help people. That's the thing. I help people. I want them to succeed. Why not? If I did it and I overcame a lot of challenges, other people can do that. So, again, go meet people. If you don't know Facebook ads, that's fine. I mean, all the big top guys, I studied a lot of these big guys that are out there, and a lot of them team up with people. That's what they do. They team
Yeah.
up. Now, I'm not saying go in business with them. I'm saying, hey, you know how to do Facebook ads? I know how to do this. Let's barter. Let's help each other out. You want to learn mine? And that's how you become friends, and everybody helps each other, and you both grow and get to that next level. And I think that's really what has helped me up to now, is just networking with people, because your network is your network, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not the only, but the few times that things have really changed my life is when I did pay to be in a small room with people who are steps ahead of me. Like they could be leaps and bounds ahead of me, but I paid to be in the same room as them, and that it changes it changes the course of my life. That's
Exactly.
what happens. So yeah, I strongly believe in masterminds, because I don't know, there's so much that you can learn from modules and just watching YouTube videos or Googling
Yeah,
stuff.
YouTube's clickbait. YouTube's turning into television.
Yeah, and it feels like to really get that blueprint, you have to be around the people who've done it already, and they go, no, no, don't do that, do this, or
Right.
you should do this.
Right. Correct. Yep. Exactly.
I absolutely agree. Hey Aiden, hey Ruben, thanks for joining us. Hey Bobby, hey guys, let me know if you know that this type of thing exists, that you can do drop shipping for real estate. Because before I spoke to you, Leo, like I didn't know that exists. But
Yeah.
my
Yeah, it's
experience.
called virtual. It's called virtual real estate investing. That's like the new name, but the old name before the internet was wholesaling real estate. So
Wholesaling real
yeah,
estate.
wholesaling. Yeah, so you're basically selling the contract. So if you were selling me a house, I'd be like, hey, I'll offer you 140,000. So you sign the contract, and then I have a clause that I can assign that contract. So then you find another buyer, and then you basically assign that contract to another buyer is what you do. So you're basically taking the difference. Like, so then let's say you're selling it to the buyer to 160, you're making 20,000.
Oh, and you have a certain amount of time before you fulfill that?
Yeah, 30 days. Yeah. If you don't have any money, we give a 30-day window. But again, it's easier said than done. You got to go through certain processes that we have. You got to, network with people. Again, it's down to networking, right? Like you got to meet other wholesalers, because every area you're in, every zip code, there's always cash buyers there, people who are investors and they target that zip code. And you want to meet those people, right? And you want to see, maybe there's, 100 people who are like, hey, I got this house. How much will you give me for it? All right, I'll give you X amount. And that's what you do. You got email blast, you can do that. If you have a large buyers list. So it's a whole process really to do it. It's great to build a lot of cash flow, right? Because you're not really investing in a property. It's a lot of cash flow. What you want to do is, after you get that cash, you want to buy a hard asset. So what happens is, when we search, sometimes I find these diamonds in the rough, and I'm like, wow, that's a nice house. I'm going to keep it for myself. So I'll buy it, and then I'll just hold it. Like in Jersey, I stay in Jersey mostly with the properties that I rent out as monthly rentals, because those properties I can physically drive there and see what's going on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can assess the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah, I got my dad here. He's right near, so I sent him. He's 75. He's retired. He has nothing else to do. I'm like, hey, go over there and go see. I had a guy
Just kidding.
earlier. There was a guy sleeping in the back room. I'm renovating it. I'm like, what is this? There's a blanket there. He's got beer. I'm like, it's a party. I'm like, how did I get in here? The window's open.
Oh my gosh. Hey Jeremy, thanks for joining us. Stacia is actually in real estate. She says, build your list of buyers and connect them with distressed sellers. Oh
Yep.
yeah, she knows this market.
Game. Yep, that's it, right? And it's your team really that'll make you or break you. Really, like I have an amazing team. Like we have a phenomenal team. We're doing 7 figures on that business model. One of my e-com stores is doing 7 figures in sales. So I do about like 400,000 on one store profit, because it's a high ticket store. We do lower sales. You know how high ticket is. It's not, we have like a smaller amount of sales, but bigger headquarters. So all these businesses, they're all set up and structured correctly. And actually, what's funny is that I hired Russell Brunson's dad, who's like into estate planning, and
Yeah.
his like I think his brother, it's Rick and Ross Brunson, and Rick does my bookkeeping. So before I didn't know anything about this, like we learned, I met him through a friend of mine, and he's like, oh, you have to set up your whole estate like this because when you start making money, you want to make sure that you're protected and your assets are protected. So meeting up with him, like, wow, he just like blew me away because I'm assuming he has, he set everything up for Russell the same way, And, we set all our LLCs up correctly, the way they should be, and they're doing the books correctly because I don't want to go to jail for the IRS thing, So, I mean, it's just set up like, I learned so much stuff just speaking to older people. Like, again, like when they say, hey, you got gray hair, I got gray hair, so we can learn a lot from them. So I learned a ton of stuff from him. And once in a while, I'd be like, hey, Ross, I have a question about, trusts and whatnot. He's like, yeah, and he just explains it so nice. And you learn a lot. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And I love learning new things. I feel like I can't learn enough. There's always something new to learn. It's crazy. And I think that's what you really gotta be addicted to, is like learning new things to keep you going. You ever see that old man with like the garden and he's like 100 years old and every year he's waiting for his tomatoes to grow and he's always tending to his garden. I guess that's what keeps you going. People, being happy and living a very, a very fulfilled life. It's like just keep being content and happy, with what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I can feel it. Your energy is very like, kind of like, oh, what's next?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think do you maybe like agree that because of the businesses you're in, that the cash flow that's coming in is so cushion like that it enables you to just pursue the next project, kind of like knowing that you can do it because of all the cash flow.
What I do, I gotta be honest. You know what I do when I get that money coming in?
Yeah.
I don't make myself comfortable. I like taking like a bigger risk.
Ooh.
Like that's what I try to do because I noticed that the minute I start being comfortable, I get sloppy. So like I learned that of myself. So what I try to do is if I'm making a lot of that money, I'll just go buy another piece of property. I'll be like, all right, and then I'll just like keep a little bit of money. So I kind of like brainwash myself into thinking that I don't have it, but I have all these assets because money gets bored. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna buy some stupid crap. So I just take it and I just like allocate it somewhere else. I'll buy like something else. Like now I really want to buy like a hotel somewhere where it's sunny because like that's like a really big thing. Like I want to start flipping really expensive like apartment complexes and like hotels. So I want to get into like syndication, which is pretty cool. That's like what Grant Cardone does. He gets like all these people to come in and they pool their money together and they buy these huge, huge, huge properties. But that's what my next goal step is,
Oh yeah, I think I saw one video where he's like, there's two types, there's certain rules that there has to be enough of them, like you have to have enough, and then you can go ahead and have people like your license and people
right.
pool. Like you can't just randomly pool a bunch of people who has money that's not legal or something.
Right. Yeah, there's different ways to do it. You got to get, again, that's another thing you got to get mentored in, It's like there's a lot of legalities. What's good about it is that you kind of spread out the liability to everyone. Because if you're just going to go and buy an $8 million property, you're the whole liability. So it's easier if you got 3 people and you go in and this way you spread out the liability and the tax implications to a bunch of people.
Oh, wow. And being in these, and guys, if you have questions, let us know. I really enjoy hearing Leo telling us about his story. It's awesome. But I do want these interviews to be interactive. So let me know if you guys have any questions for Leo. Hey, Alvin. Hey, Chris. Chris is one of my QuickLinkConvert partners. He's actually, he does a bunch of things. I find like people who are serial entrepreneurs, it's so easy for them to go and pursue something else because they have all the systems set up. For you, having your foot in all these things, why do you feel like real estate is mostly what you do? Because, you know, like Ernest, he does mostly e-commerce and he's does mostly that. You do a little bit of like a lot of things. Why settle? Why choose real estate as your main thing?
I guess because when I was a kid, like my dad, he always like taught me how the whole, all different systems in a house, like the electrical, the plumbing, how everything works, and plus my background as an engineer, I like how to see how things operate. And it's a physical, actual, tangible thing. It's like physical piece of material. Um, I think that's why. And I saw what my dad did, just coming to this country with nothing. I mean, my dad kind of like taught himself how to speak English, and he bought like 2 properties, and he was able to retire and just relax now, all because of real estate. And he came. I should be able to do 10 times as much because he was an immigrant. So I see what he did and I kind of relate to it. And I really like real estate. Like there's just so many things you can do. And at the end of the day, like right now, like your listeners are probably saying everything is great and the economy, it's awesome. But if you think back to 2007, it wasn't that good. We had a good like 12-year run right now, right? So I'm not being Mr. Doomsday, but usually when you look at like data, like we're really like peaked right now, like all the charts like up here, right? So even if things crash, people have to live somewhere because e-commerce is not going to be great forever, right? People are going to cut down what they're buying unless it's an essential, like you need like toilet paper and you need like certain things. I would love to see Amazon's data when that happens because they're going to be selling only necessities, right? All these luxury items are not going to be as in vogue. But people are still going to need to live somewhere. And even if prices adjust, like you can still wholesale stuff because now everything just at a low price, you can still make money and you can still buy, real estate at, cheap price and still rent it out and get rentals. So, I mean, I think that's why I love it and that's why I do it so much. And it's just tried and true, it doesn't change. And plus, you don't have to really update any videos if you got to sell information videos to people or training because it's the same for the last 20 years. Like e-commerce is changing every week. It's something new. It's like, oh, Facebook changed the algorithm. It's like, it's so different. It's everything just changes so fast. Like Amazon and like Google's new ads and Instagram is doing something new. Like everything is changing so quick. But real estate is a dinosaur. Like real estate really is a dinosaur. Like if you go online, people are still going to like forums and they're reading articles and blogs and like there's just so much on YouTube you can watch about real estate. Like you gotta physically go to the property. But again, real estate's gonna be the same. Nothing's really changed so much. It's been the same thing for the last 30 years. Nothing's really changed.
Yeah, one of my friends, he's a real estate investor and he has his own brokerage firm and everything like that. He's very, very successful with real estate and he's like, this is industry has not been disrupted. It's the same. It's
Yep.
So it's pretty safe. I'm like, okay.
It is a safe, but you got to know like the ups and the downs. Like you obviously don't want to buy it at the top of the market. Like we're not buying any properties right now because of what's going on, unless they're dirt cheap. I mean, like so cheap that if it dropped, like I can see a property and be like, okay, if it's an X amount of dollars, if the market fell out, I'd still be ahead. Like that. You just have to know it. And you need a mentor to like show you these things. It's you can make a lot of expensive mistakes if you don't buy real estate at the right time.
Oh yeah, a mentor for real estate could save you so much money.
Yeah.
Well, like, oh, Angelique says, what type of e-com do you do, or what are the e-commerce?
I have 2 high-ticket e-com stores. I have let's see, 3 POD stores, and I have 3 AliExpress stores, and I have an Amazon private label.
3, what are PODs?
Print on demand.
Oh, okay, like
Yeah, I
Printful.
just built those. So what we're doing is we're scaling our Facebook ads. Like my friend does the ads, so
Yeah.
he's like running ads for like 3 stores right now, and we did the first set, which is engagement. So now we're about to run ads for conversions, Facebook.
Okay. And I have a question. So you are a fan of masterminds and stuff. So what are the masterminds you recommend for someone? Can you recommend like a mastermind for each field? One for e-commerce and one for real estate? Um,
Well, I can recommend Ernest's Mastermind. He's got a great program for high ticket ecom. Um, I have a good mastermind if you want to learn wholesaling. And I also have a continuity program that I'm going to be rolling out that's really cheap. And if someone wants to get into like residential, because that's like the first step. People want to like either house hack, they want to get into a two-family house, or they want to buy, they're living in this one family home or an apartment and they want to buy an investment. Usually a duplex or a triplex is the next step. So that's why I call it the blue collar entrepreneur, because I'm the first step. Like you're not going to become, Grant Cardone without taking the first step. And I feel like I resonate more with a lot of people because I have so many people that come to me like, hey, Lee, I want to buy a house. Okay, this is what you got to do. A, B, C, D. I had 2 guys at work. They're like, hey, I got to buy a house. All right, here's my real estate agent. Go look at this. And they would come, they'd ask me questions. So I figured, you know what? Why don't I offer these 2 different programs to people who want to? It's like a large, I think it's going to be like a two, my real estate masters club, it's called. Is going to be a continuity program coaching for people who want to buy investment properties, also other coaching as well, but mostly for investment properties. And they could learn, what they want to do because everyone needs a coach. It's a big investment to buy a multifamily house. And when you go on these forums and these groups, there's so much stuff there. Like it's like, there's so many people talking about this one's talking about, oh, I got water in my basement, or it's like all over the place. And it's really not zeroed in and one-on-one. So by offering something affordable to somebody who's starting out, I mean, it was the right thing for me to do.
yeah. So you have your own mastermind right now that's available and active,
Yeah,
or
actually, what I did was I created, I have a small Facebook group for wholesaling and for rentals. And then I have 2 private groups that, whoever pays goes into those 2 groups. One is for wholesaling and the other one is for the real estate masters club for rental property.
awesome. I'm gonna look into that. I feel like everyone who goes along this path of like creating multiple businesses, they do get into real estate, you know, eventually they start buying properties and renting
Right.
them out, and or for you doing that and flipping and creating more stores and everything like that. It's like creating more streams of income.
Right. That's the key. Yeah, all these streams, because if one falls off, you have more coming in. That's really the goal. So I have 3 parts of my real estate business, and one of them funds cash flow coming in. Even the ecom, all that money I take and I just like reinvest it into real estate, hard assets. That's what I do.
Yeah. Wow. Is that the pattern you see a lot of people in your circle do?
I mean, I don't see that pattern with a lot of people that do it, but I do it because I'm in real estate. So, but I know a lot of people, ecom people are interested. That's why my group's made up of a lot of people with ecom. And everyone in ecom, they're making all this money. What do you do with the money? Like, you got to put it somewhere. So it makes sense just to shuffle it into like a hard asset that'll pay you back and appreciate over time.
Very true. Hey Alicia. Hey Magbul. Hey Mac. Hey Moshi. Hey guys. Thanks for joining us. If you guys are here live, hashtag live, and if you're here for the replay, hashtag replay. But thanks for joining and hopping on. Leo is very experienced with, he has so many e-commerce stores, print on demand, drop shipping, he does private label as well. I got into private label too, but it feels like for like my success with private label isn't crazy. It's like, okay, I private label this beauty product and it's selling, but I didn't go nuts with it, and I didn't go nuts with the other streams of income either. They make, you know, a couple 100,000 here and there, and I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm not like pursuing it to that level. What do you give as advice for people who are like trying out different things? Like, what is it that made you go to like 10x it? Because I feel like,
You know what?
you know, some people only have one store or like two.
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. I guess like everyone's talking about 10x. I guess, you know, hey, you got to do more. So I'm like, I'll just start. You know, it was actually just curiosity. Like, I want to know about this FBA. Okay, you know, and when you're making money and you can have disposable money to like make mistakes, you know, I don't get scared to lose money. So because I lost a lot of money investing in stuff. I think like the main thing is to really tackle that fear. If you're gonna lose money and you're scared of losing money, then that's going to be tough as an entrepreneur. So if I go into a business, I know I'm going to lose money. I know like maybe the first, second try, I'm losing money. I already know how I am. Like, I think you really just need to learn how you are as a person first. Like, once you lose that money, then you know. You get in a mastermind, you learn things, then you're able to like just profit from it and just utilize. Again, it comes back to mastermind, just cutting down how many mistakes that you make, you know. But I wanted just to make a lot of money to reinvest it. So like I just wanted my family to be well off. I don't want to worry about money, you know. That's what I just wanted to do. And I wanted to build a lot of assets. I wanted the freedom to do what I want to do, you know. I mean, even though I'm still working, I'm probably going to be packing it in like a year or two, because I'm at that point that I have like 23 years. So I'm pretty much done. But I'm looking for an office building. I got a lot of like, you know, ideas what I want to do, because I want to get on YouTube and I want to put some videos out. That's going to require some time. But I mean, I just did it because I wanted to see. I guess I kind of have something to get with myself, just to test myself. Hey, what about if I could do this? I wonder if I could do that. That's really what it's about. It's about testing yourself.
Yeah, you have a relationship with money and fear that probably a lot of people don't have, a willingness to like lose a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
and you said that came out of you networking with people, talking to people,
Yeah.
masterminding,
Yeah.
and they
Pretty
don't have that
much.
fear. So you're like, why am I afraid? Um,
Yeah, I mean, because if someone that comes to you and helps you, like, you know, high ticket ecom, how to do ads, all right, so he knows, and you like just hit off ideas, and you know, someone who does Facebook ads, you hit off ideas, like, you know, to learn all these skills all the time, it's a lot of work, you know, like I learned how to do a lot of these things, Amazon and this and that. And by the way, when you hire your VAs and you hire your team, I learn a lot of stuff from my VAs that I don't. Like, believe it or not, like I'm hiring when I look for people, like I make sure that I hire people with experience. And you'd be surprised a lot of VAs that you hire, what experience they have. Like they probably work for seven-figure people. Maybe something happened. You know, I hired a lot of women that had babies and then they came back. There wasn't a job anymore. So you'd be surprised what you learn from people that you hire. You know,
where do you go to hire?
You could try. I started doing online jobs, right? And then when I hired a couple people, there was actually a lot of Facebook pages that they knew. I mean, you have to know the Filipino language, like, because it's all in Philippine. But then they network with their own people. You'd be surprised. Everybody knows each other. So if you need someone for real estate, hey, you know anybody who has real estate? Yeah, I know a couple people, and then you meet that one, and you go by word of mouth and referral. That's really the best, because a lot of VAs will work like 7 jobs, and they'll like slack on your job, and then you'll end up firing them. You know, it's very common with virtual assistants. But hiring a VA is a science within itself to try to find good help. It really is. But again, you got to fire quickly, like Gary V says. Fire fast. You know?
Hire slow? I feel like I can't hire slow with VAs. You just hire them or not, because you're not gonna meet up with them that often.
Yeah. It
Not
depends,
face to
you know,
face.
like the high ticket ecom's tough, you know, it's a lot of training and doing freight. It's like it's not AliExpress. AliExpress is like all automated. When you're dealing with certain ecom, even like with Amazon, like Amazon's a pain. You gotta like ship stuff and you gotta print out labels. It's just a lot. FBA is a lot of stuff going on,
Yeah, I do FBM too. So I understand. I spent 5 years automating my warehouse and people so that they don't really have to look to me. They
Yeah.
know the system.
Yeah,
And it's a lot of work.
no, it's a lot to know, right? It's so much. So it helps like hiring VAs that know how to do that, so you don't have to go in there and check. My team, like they've been with me for more than 5 years, and they're great. I if I do need someone, they have great people. And they refer me, and so it's good to have people you trust on your team. That's really important. Again, it comes down to knowing how to build out a team. That's really what makes you successful.
Is there a school for that, or you just do trial and error?
It's trial and error.
Yeah.
It is. And you know what? And you got to have some sort of intuition too, Usually deep down inside your gut, if you think the person sucks, you could probably do. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want to think like that. But like deep down inside, I have that gut feeling like I know they're terrible and they got to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad when I'm like, oh, that person, oh man, and then I have to fire. But yeah, I, I just am really excited about talking to people like you because you are, the next level of where
Hmm.
I want to be. So it's really exciting to kind of validate, the value of masterminds, the value of um, trusting good workers. Like my business grew a lot when I had some. I went through probably 13 employees that were over the course of 5 years that were like mediocre or bad. Also because of my area. My area isn't like the best. It's in the desert, and there's a
Hmm.
prison nearby and all that stuff. But it wasn't until I found one guy that made a huge difference. He was super reliable, always on time, really hardworking, and that transformed everything else around him. And so,
Makes a difference. I'm telling you, that one person
yeah,
makes
it's
a
huge.
difference. And I take care of my people. I pay them really well. Like
Yeah.
I give my real estate team a percentage of all the money we make as a commission. Like
Oh,
that's how I take care of them, because I know that I can't even hire people here in the United States that want to work like that hard. Like that's how much I love my team. Like I give them bonuses. They're like one of the guys that works for me, which he's like my right hand man. His computer broke. I'm like, yo, I'll get your computer, no problem. It broke. Like his daughter like threw it on the floor. I'm like, yeah, no problem, whatever. Like they work hard for me, and they're my team. They're not working for me. They're my team. That's how you have to look at it. Like everybody chips in the same amount and they deserve the respect and they deserve, to get compensated correctly. Because, law of abundance, like you'll make more money. That's just how it is. You're going to make more money. It's going to come.
yeah, I absolutely agree. And I'm so glad that I'm able to connect with you.
Hey,
I was kind of on the fence about one mastermind. I was thinking of doing, it's like $3,000 for 2 days.
I paid 7 grand for a mastermind.
Oh, okay. Well, this was like it's like a 2 day thing. It's only two
Hmm.
days. But I was like, should I go because I don't know if they're in the field that I want to get into. But um yeah, I don't know. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go now.
You might want to, and then you have another business.
Oh yeah, maybe. Um,
Hey,
hey George, thanks for joining us, you guys. Usually I have you on for like an hour, so we're probably gonna wrap up within the next 5-ish minutes.
cool.
And if you guys have any questions, let us know. There's just comments. Alicia says everyone needs a place to live as well as healthcare.
Yeah,
Emily says, are you able to share all your masterminds and other Facebook group links with us?
sure.
She's also a real estate investor and agent.
Hmm.
So
Cool.
we have a
Yeah, I will. What I'll do is I'll send you my Facebook group is real estate investing for entrepreneurs because I'm kind of like positioning to like people who are already business people that want to learn. Um, they want to learn, real estate investing. And they don't have a lot of money, so wholesaling is great for that. Just as long if you're good on, you got to get on the phone, talk to prospects, leads that come in, make offers. That's the thing. You hire a virtual assistant to take calls. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to make money. There's so many
Yeah.
houses out there. Just think, there's so many houses out there. There's not, they say, oh, it's a lot of competition. There's tons of houses, trust me. There's more houses than wholesalers.
Oh, wow. And for you, when you do create the systems, do you do it like right away at the beginning of your new venture, or do you wait until it kind of works for a little bit and then you reinvest that into a team, or do you
Yeah.
start off with a team? How do you?
No, I start off with like one person. Like my last business, we started with one person, and then we're like, oh, do you know anybody? So then he's like, yeah, these people I worked with, for a while, and they'll hire their friends. And then, it's better if everybody knows each other because they like just click together. It's the least amount of training possible. And it just worked out really well. But then as you get into it, you start figuring out, okay, maybe we'll get someone to do this list. We'll hire someone to do CSV files, and you get someone else to upload products. You just figure it out eventually. And then, like I'm a big proponent of, we use Office 365 and we use Microsoft Teams. So we create an actual chat, and we kind of like organize everything. And then we have a CRM that's called Podio, that we go in there and we put all our leads in there. So you figure out a system as you go. With the first, and you ask your team also their input. Hey, what do you think we should do? Hey, I think so and so should do this. We should hire one more person to this. And it's a learning process as you go.
Yeah. I feel like the things a lot of people struggle with, you just like take it in strides. The questions I have is more geared towards like what made you different with these successes versus other people, because you're like a different level of productivity. I feel like, do you wake up super early in the morning? Do you
Yeah, I get up like 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock? Okay, that is one aspect.
Yeah,
And,
I get up at 4 a.m. I work 6 to 2. So I get up, I get my things going. I get home probably like, I would say 3. I hang out with my son for a little while, and then I go to the gym. I fit in the gym because when I had my son, like I gained like 20 pounds, and I was like tired, and it was affecting my performance really. So I told my wife, I'm like, as soon as we have our second baby, like I have to go back to the gym. Like I have to make it. I have to, like, an hour. I gotta go. So that's what we did. So now I'm back. So now I have more energy. So for more businesses now. I'm like, yeah, and I'm
10
doing
more
like
e-commerce stores, another
I'm doing
building.
boot camp. I'm like, yeah, squats, and like it's not just go to the gym and watch TV. It's not Planet Fitness, like But it's like, it's like sweating an hour. But when I come back, I'm like, I feel good, and it's trust me, it really it really puts you in a good mood, and it just sets the tone for the rest of the day. And then I come home, I eat, and spend time with my family. And there's always that family time. On the weekends, I try not to do any work on the weekends. I try to spend just time with my family. I like that structure. Maybe that's why I'm like still working, I guess. Because I know when I'm home, I sit on my butt. So what I have to do is I have to kind of like buy an office building and like kind of set myself up, like, you know what I mean? So I can just go. That's what I have to do. I'm finding my own, like, I'm guess I got a habit, the whole process.
When I was an intern for Merrill Lynch, there was this man, he was in his 70s, and he's like, he was one of their clients, and I was just on site, and he's like, come follow me to my office. And it is a separate building that he owns, and he just goes there. I'm like, you don't work. What are you doing here? He's like, I need structure. I need to get away from the house. So he just drives to this building.
Everyone's like, I'm gonna work at home. It's great. I'm gonna quit my job. Dude, you got to get out. Like, you really got to go. Like, my wife is home with a baby. She's going crazy. She's like, I just want to go to Kohl's. And I'm like, all right, go to Kohl's. Like, for me to go to work, like, I like it. I'm socializing. Like, you're stuck at home. Like, if you're home and you're an entrepreneur and you quit your job, trust me, you will miss the socializing with people because that's like there's just so much online. You got to go to events. Like I'm just telling people, get up off your butt, go to events. Go to events, whatever it is, mastermind or even like a free seminar, something, Eventbrite. Go out and meet people. Seriously, just go out. Go. You'll never know. You never know. The universe is a mysterious thing. I'll tell you. What you think, it just comes to you. It's crazy. You just gotta keep. Just think that you. If you think that you can do it, you can do it. It'll happen. It will happen.
Yes. I believe that very strongly. Yep. But okay guys, well we're gonna wrap it up right now. Thanks George for joining us, and Angelique. Yeah, I'll drop the link at the end of this into the description. So you guys can join his group, join his mastermind, and he has 2 Facebook groups, and he's gonna launch something in the future that's a
it's really soon. It's a wholesaling program. Yeah.
It's a wholesaling program.
Wholesaling program, the real estate investing program, and a continuity program. It's 2 it's 2 programs.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any closing thing to say to the listeners, or where can they find you? What's the easiest way to find you?
I'm on Facebook. You could just look me up, Leo Piero, on Facebook, and also I'm on Instagram. I got some funny memes on Instagram. I'm not that big on, I kind of like to post funny stuff on Instagram because real estate is really boring. Like you're not gonna go on Instagram and be like, wow, this is a great real estate quote and it's so great. I try to make it funny, and just on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn too. If you want to get me on LinkedIn. I have no videos on YouTube, so if you want to subscribe anyway, that's great. I'll take the subscribers. I don't have any videos, but I'm coming to you, YouTube. I'm coming. I'll get there eventually. I'll try to find something. Maybe we can add a 25th hour in the day to do YouTube, possibly. But I'll get there, Kim. I'll get there.
I feel like in a year you'll be like, yeah, I have 3 YouTube channels, and now I have 14 e-commerce stores. That's how I feel. Like that's what you're gonna be.
He makes jokes about that all the time. He's like, "Yeah, I know, Leah, it's fine." Because Ernest and I, we've been friends for a while, and we make a lot of, we crack jokes all the time. So it's pretty funny.
Well, okay, guys, I'm gonna do that. So Leo, I'm gonna click end live video right now, and I'll say bye to you separately.
All right.
Oh yeah! If you like that video, then you will love all the resources that I have over at kimcdang.com. That is KIMCDANG.com. There you will find all my courses, my extensions, all the offers that I have, as well as a lot of free resources if you are just getting started.